Upon entering the room, I let myself fall onto the bed. It hurt. My right eye hurt more than my shoulder where Levi bit me. It feels like it sucked in the bad energy. Once I realized the pain, my entire body started to feel fatigued. It felt like heavy mud was accumulating in my body. What should I do? I was tired, but I still felt alert. Endless thoughts ran through my mind, and fear started to arise. I found out about Levi and Francisca. If I continued on this path, I would likely come across truths I didn't want to know. I shook my head and sat up. I didn't think I could fall asleep at this rate. I'll try to take a breather. Okay, I've never actually tried to see Levi first. I don't know if things changed doing this, but we'll see. I wondered if Levi was already asleep. Gonna see him before Hugh today. I stood in front of his room and perked my ears. He was groaning. Why would he be? Were his wounds still hurting? Or... Levi! I'm coming in! I had a bad feeling about this. I opened the door wide without knocking. Ah! Judd! Levi was holding his head between his hands, but upon my entry he jumped up in surprise. Even from the doorway, I could tell that he looked extremely pale. What's the matter? Does it still hurt? I called out to him while walking over. No, I'm fine. You're lying. Look at how pale you are. Just calm down now. Everything's fine. Poor boy's shaken like a leaf. I sat next to him on the bed and started rubbing his back. Aw. He was shaking and his shirt was drenched in sweat. Soothe. I pat him slowly to calm him down. Soon, his shaking stopped and his heavy breathing also slowed. I'm sorry, he mumbled in a teary voice. I'm sorry I bit your shoulder. It's all right. I'm fine now. And I scared that kid, too. I don't know about that. I can't imagine Elric being afraid of anything. I didn't even realize the two of you were there. That's how crazy I was. Ever since I cut you. It's all in the past now. My wounds had healed, and the pain was completely gone. But the wound in Levi's heart still hadn't healed. He still felt guilt and regret over what he did. I thought I was done for then. That I had turned into a complete monster. I was afraid of the ghosts. The shadows of the people I've killed. I thought they were always watching. And when I saw your blood... Levi's eyes wandered. He looked afraid, as if there were a ghost right in front of him. I wanted to die and end it all, but I couldn't even do that. I killed the person I wanted to protect the most, but I still couldn't kill myself. It's not because of the magical stone. I killed you with my own hands. He blurted out those words of regret and started shaking again. I wanted to get him to calm down, so I pulled his shoulder toward me a bit roughly. Come here, you. Just let me hold you. I don't know. Okay, I think I see... I always wondered what is going on with this hand, but I think it's just wrapped underneath him and it just looks strange down here. I think that's what's going on. I think everything's fine. I told you earlier, didn't I? I'm alive and well. Hear my heart? I'm warm and still very much alive. Our hearts seem to beat together. And you're alive too, Levi. It'll be okay. I held him close and rested my cheek on his head. We could feel each other's body heat, and they seemed to meld together. Oh, you're the only one Levi also leaned on me, as if entrusting me with his body. He called me the person he wanted to protect the most. I wondered what he meant by that. I thought about asking, but before I could, Levi continued.
When I was in that fit of insanity, I was in this very cold place. You came to me and took my hand. You told me to not run away. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Even if you weren't with the Wolf Clan. Even if you were actually a part of the Hawk Clan. I just wanted you by my side. I needed you.
His voice softened as he seems to go into a daze. Well, as it turns out, I am kind of with the Hawk Clan, so... He must be so tired. I wanted to get him to sleep. Ah, I forgot that he said I love you here. Man, it's been so long. Levi.
I love you.
Those sudden words made me jump. Even if it came from someone half asleep and in a lot of pain. In what way? Like a brother? Or... Stop with the brother love. Jed, please.
Ow!
Because my body moved out of reflex, Levi's body lost its support and he fell onto his hands. On the hand that had been punctured. Oh, sorry. How's your hand?
It's probably useless now.
He said something so grave as if it were nothing. He seems to act relieved while he looked at his hand.
This isn't nearly enough to atone for what I did. As long as you're alive, I don't care what happens to these hands.
Levi. It was a fact that there was a side of Levi I didn't know. But that didn't mean the side of Levi I did know was a lie. Levi was still himself. You should go to sleep. I'll be with you a little longer. I moved Levi's limp body on his side on the bed.
Can I ask you something?
What?
How did you survive after that?
Lugus saved me.
Lugus?
I hesitated briefly, but decided to be honest about it. Levi looked suspicious, as I expected, but he appeared to be convinced at the answer.
I see. I guess there are good guys even among the Hawks. There are people like me. Among the wolves, too.
After saying that, Levi dozed off quietly. Knowing he would be fine now, I stared at his sleeping face for a little longer. He looked so tired, but there was something about his face that appeared relieved. Levi could have been under the influence of the magical stone and I wouldn't have known. But because he had been completely under its effect, he looked so worn out. I wondered if Algar also looked like this when he went mad from his magical stone. I wondered how Lugus and T would see their father. I exited the room and secretly checked out the chapel. Okay, are we on the Husine train? Let's see. Will it let me skip is the question. Yep. Okay, we've read all this before. I don't know when the next thing happens. I don't know if I should keep you guys around or if I should bring you in when something changes. Okay, I'm gonna risk the biscuit and say I'll bring you in when something changes. It might be like 5 seconds from now. Maybe it'll be 5 minutes from now. We'll see, but I'll bring you in. Ooh, this is before the night of going to face Olgar, and we have never done this before. We've talked with Hugh and Levon, now it's Levi's turn, so let's see what happens here. This is great, something new. I love new. I wanted to talk to Levi. I looked and found Levi sitting on the couch. There's a couch in the chapel? Levi.
Hey!
We gave each other a short greeting, and Levi smiled his usual smile. I thought he'd be nervous, but it seemed not. I felt reassured to see that.
Perfect timing. There's something I wanted to tell you.
What's that? Levi moved slightly off the seat to create a space for me to sit.
Okay.
I moved in and sat. What did you want to talk about?
After everything's done, and Levon and the others are able to govern the town right, I'll atone for my crimes.
Levi was exactly the same as he used to be. I was not ready to face the brutal reality all of a sudden. To atone for his crimes, in other words, for the Black Shadow thing.
I can't just let things stand as they are.
His voice was mixed with a dry laugh, but it felt slightly kinder than the usual Levi.
I've caused a lot of trouble for Levon, and I don't know what punishment is waiting for me. But I want to be judged not as a beast, but as a human being. In order for that to happen, I need to be victorious.
Levi.
I wanted you to know how I felt. What's wrong?
You make it sound like they're your last words.
Hey, knock on wood!
Sorry. I made a fist over my lap. I knew this. Levi had to take responsibility for what he did. I already knew this, but it hurt.
Let's make sure we win tomorrow.
Yeah. I couldn't do anything. All I could do was nod in response. Interesting. So he's gonna take responsibility. Face the music, be judged for his crimes. Whatever the judgment may be. He's hoping not to be executed. Oy, oy, oy. Well. I got dark all of a sudden. I wonder what this ending's going to lead to. Okay, I shall skip ahead again because there's a lot with the fight and the flashback and things. It's going to be a little bit of time, so yeah, I'll bring you back in when something relevant happens. Okay, flashback and everything has happened. Our girl is being moved to a cell. I kind of remember Levi yelling like he was going to make sure he saved Jed during the scene, so I'm replaying it to see if my memory is correct. And if it is correct, then it's a good thing to include with his route, I feel. So, here we go.
You witch! It's the witch's fault.
The witch's fault!
She's not a witch!
Out of the calls of hatred, someone shouted out to deny them. A loud and strong voice. Levi?
Jed!
You're all right.
It was definitely Levi, and Levon was next to him. I was glad neither of them were captured. They tried to come toward me, but were stopped by everyone around them.
Let go of me! She's not a witch! I know her better than anyone!
She fought with us for the sake of this town. Have you no shame? You betrayed her and now you insult her like this.
I was relieved to see that they're safe. I was also touched that they were defending me. They were right. I wasn't a witch. I didn't have the power to curse this town. Hear me! I shouted loudly for everyone to hear. The ropes binding me were pulled violently, but that didn't stop me. It's true that I have deceived you of my gender. I also hid my red eye. But I am no witch. I have no power to bring misfortune to this town. Killing me won't change a thing in this town.
She's lying.
She's a liar. She only says that because she doesn't want to die.
I am not lying. Madam Francisca died because of you. I was at a loss of words. Francisca's death was my fault? That's not true. It wasn't, but...
Mother's death has nothing to do with her. You should have been the one to die. It's your fault that the lady had to die.
Stop it! All of you!
After Madame Francisca died, it's your fault that the battle from yesterday was started.
It's all your fault, isn't it?
No. No. I was only involved in the midst of it. I wasn't the cause. Right when I thought of explaining it, I realized something. Countless eyes of the townspeople were looking at me. Fear, anger, hatred. It wasn't the sort of look a wolf would give to a hawk or a hawk would give to a wolf. It was the sort of look that a human would give to a witch. I wasn't a witch, but to them I was. The power to curse and my own will had nothing to do with it. The only thing that mattered to them was my red eye. That has become an indisputable fact. This eye was what made me a witch. Ow! Something hit my foot. It's a stone. Someone must have thrown it. After a short pause, more stones started to fly. One after another, they were aimed at me.
Stop it!
What the hell are you all thinking? Stop it!
The rain of stones didn't stop despite their desperate cries. Ugh! One hit my head. I could tell I was bleeding at the forehead. We were all joined together until yesterday to fight Olgar as the common enemy. And today, that enemy had been shifted to me.
Let's go.
He pulled at the rope. I stood there dumbfounded and was practically dragged away. All the while, stones were being thrown at me.
Jed! I'll save you!
I thought I heard Levi still shouting, but my ears could hardly hear anything. I remembered correctly. I knew he was the last one to yell there. Like, I got you, girl. I'll get you. Okay. Grand. I think, so I'll fast forward again, because I have a long talk with Hugh and stuff coming up. But then I should be bringing you in for the final map portion, so I'll see you guys there. Alright, we've made it to the map as promised, so let's go to the West Alley and pick our different option for Levi. And then that should activate the option we need in Chapter 10 to get his ending. Here we go! Play the episode. Though not many, there were still watchful eyes around town. I tried to walk along the edges to avoid attracting attention. And suddenly... Whoa! A hand grabbed me and pulled me into the alleyway. What's going on? Who? My mind was confused, but my body was already reacting. I shook off the hand and aimed my fist at...
Wait! It's me!
Right before I struck, I stopped. We really did meet like this way too often, Levi. Levi?
I knew it was you, Jed. I can tell even when you're in that outfit.
Now you can. I suddenly felt weak. Don't scare me like that.
That's my line. You managed to escape.
Yeah, someone helped me.
Really? Seems like they beat me to it. I was supposed to be the one to save you.
Though he complained, Levi was giving me a big smile. I was glad to see him so happy, but I felt sorry for making that joy short-lived. But I have to get back soon.
Huh? Why? You managed to escape.
There's someone there in my place. Besides, if I run away, nothing will change.
What do you mean by that?
The state of the town. Everyone is already suspicious of everyone. If I run away... If the witch...
You're not a witch.
But everyone thinks I am. That's why I don't want to cause everyone to get even more worried.
Who cares about them? They're the kind that called you a witch.
Levi? This boy. So earnest.
You're doing this for the sake of the town? What about you? Why do you have to be treated like this?
Tears swelled along the corner of his eyes and began to roll out in beads. Levi.
It has nothing to do with the witch. You're always you, Jed. You need to take better care of yourself. You saved me. If it weren't for you, I would never have regained my sanity. I can't do anything without you.
Levi roughly rubbed the tears from his face with his hand. His left hand was bandaged, and it looked like there was blood seeping through. So much time had passed since then, but his wound still hadn't healed. Levi, you're bleeding.
Who cares about my hand?
I care.
It's fine. This hand has already committed so many unforgivable things. I killed so many people.
That's...
If anyone deserves hate, if anyone deserves punishment, it's me. Don't you think so? I'm the one more fitting of that. I don't care if they cut this hand off or burn it up. It's done so many horrible things. So why does it have to be you?
Levi's heart was filled with regret. Even I was able to forgive Levi. But that might have been because I was still alive. What about the dead? The dead couldn't even forgive. They couldn't wish for atonement. That scar of his would never go away. Because it was a crime that he committed. You could say that was all there was to it. But if he wasn't crazed by the power of the magical stone, if he were not in this closed world, would Levi have done the same thing? As long as this world continued, Levi would also be imprisoned. But if the Kaleidovia was completed and souls returned to their rightful places, Levi, you'd look great in a bright place.
Huh? What are you saying all of a sudden?
I knew what was inside Levi's heart. When I peeked inside, I felt the darkness, the muddiness, the suffocation. Levi was inside that all along. That was why he cried for help. I wanted to help Levi because I loved him this time around. Because I loved Levi. He was always by my side. He always cheered me on. It didn't matter if I was a man or woman. Levi always looked at me for who I was. And I loved that about him. I needed to get going.
Jed.
Thank you for caring so much about me.
You have to consider the people that need you.
Yeah, I know. I do. I turned my back to Levi and started running.
No matter what happens, I will try to save you.
I felt Levi's gaze on my back until I was hidden from view in the fog. How interesting. I love that, like, she seemed kind of, not regretful, hesitant. Maybe, I don't know what the right word is, but something along those lines when we had the option for Levon. But she was just like straight up, I love him, because he accepts me for who I am as a person, and I love that about him. Alright, well, time to go back to the main story. I'll keep you guys around now as we skip. Actually, I don't really need to skip. I can just read this and see what option we get. I met those I wanted to meet. I talked to those I wanted to talk to. All that was left is for me to decide. What should I do with the town? What did the people living in this town want? Okay, because I've done Levon's, that's unlocked for me, but I've done that already. I seek laughter. That's great for Levi. I seek laughter.